I lived a basic life on an island in the old abandoned golf course, just north of Romantic. A valley town plagued with tropical storms. It was monsoon season in the Romantic Valley, so I was used to staying in my underground bunker. I lived alone, without friends or family. I must have been experiencing some form of amnesia at this point in my life, as I don't know my name or age. Well, at least not at this point in my life. How would someone like myself pass the time, you may ponder? Well, a glass jar with a goldfish that sat on the table by my chair was really all I had for a friend. I had named my goldfish friend Labob. We spent a lot of time talking about what it would be like if Labob could be a human, or if I could be a fish. We also had a cassette tape deck with a radio, however, the radio couldn't get a signal in the monsoon season in the Romantic Valley. We did have a decent selection of cassette tapes to listen to, though. Bob really liked the jazz mixtapes. He would jump right out of his bowl 3 feet into the air, and we would listen to those jivey, jazzy tunes. I'll tell you what, I thought he might jump straight to the moon. The story may sound sad to some, but I didn't know the world. This was my life, our life, Labob and I. I did find some old cassette that tickled my fancy, but that's another story. The end. Haha, I'm just kidding. The story's just beginning. So, about this cassette tape that I found. It was a blank tape with a poor writing on the front of it. The permanent marker still made a readable cover labeled, "I Don't Mind Peeing on a Building." Well, Bob didn't like the song so much. Maybe he feared building runoff yellow waters, but I found the song to be clever and amusing. My stomach was growling with hunger in this dimly lit bunker. Let's see. What have we to eat, Labob? Shall we? Fish food? I'll pass on that, but Labob can have some. I shook out some fish food over the fish bowl as Labob wagged his little tail with excitement. He was so happy, but that's no steak dinner for me. I would love to eat some pancakes, but the instant pancake mix was stale and covered in moth webs. The box of powdered eggs was completely covered in mold and mildew. Suppose I'll have to check the pantry shelves for canned food. Dusty old can of corned beef hash. Guess that'll do. Oh, criminy. What did I do with that darn tootin' can opener? Hey, Labob, I bellowed. Labob! Do you know what I did with that can opener? I questioned myself as of why I'm asking a fish. How would he know what I did with the can opener? Oh yeah, I have my trusty yet rusty knockoff Swiss Army knife. This should get the job done, I yelled to Labob with excitement and enthusiasm. Labob looked at me as if he was rolling his eyes and sighing. I calmly said to Labob, "You're right. This can opener tool is pretty beat up. Let's hope it works." I used all of the strength in my fingers to unhinge the can opener tool while still using finesse in this desperate situation. Boink! Oh no! The rusty old can opener tool sprung through the air and fell to the floor. So much for that idea, I said to Labob. I'm losing my mind. Why am I trying to have a conversation with a fish? I cried. Fish don't talk. Chapter 2, Labob's Point of View. So there I was, stuck north in a bowl, drowning in Romantic Valley. It wasn't so bad. Tootie Tootin was the human that looked over me and kept me from losing my sanity during the monsoon season of the millennium. Y2K had come and gone, and the world was still dragging on and on. Tootie seemed strange and aloof at this point in his life. I believe he was suffering from dementia or an Alzheimer's condition. Either way, he kept me entertained with his company and friendship that was reminiscent of a nostalgic tear and an eternal smiling heart. I often thought and spoke with Tootie of his legs and how grand it would be to run and skip in the sun. Tootie exclaimed how wonderful it would be to swim and breathe water and be slippery to escape the grasp of a choking lover. So we spent our afternoons with the cassette tapes of our generations before. I myself especially liked the Louis Armstrong tapes. The horn would get my fins a-wiggling, and Louis's voice was so much a pleasure to Tootie and I. We would sing his songs in a deep, raspy throat of bone machine gun laughter. Beautiful these times were, super. Oh, he played his stupid peeing on a building cassette too many times. I don't think he understood my dislike for it. I was a fish, and I could never pee on a building. I swam in my own urine. But I ate pretty well myself, but I often recall Tootie struggling to find a decent meal. All of his human fish food was spoiling like stagnant puddles of water. One day he was mad with hunger. He fumbled with his food tool to open up another can of his cylinder prisons, but he failed and it sprung into the air. Tootie let out a hysterical hyena's wail and shouted loony, cackling, and incoherent babble. I faintly remember him cry out, "Fish can't talk," as he plucked me from my glass home and threw me high flying into the air, and I plummeted down into the foaming maniacal mouth. A squishy crunch was the last of I, and now I only know darkness.